Hello. Just getting some recordings done. This is Letters to Ewan 88. This one's called Back at the Bathhouse. Dear Ewan, I wanted to revisit my trip to the bathhouse and talk about the bar I went to last night. The night before I went to the bathhouse, I was looking at some porn and got really turned on seeing some domination themed porn. It was basically violent, and my being was so attracted. I never have violent sex, and I prefer sex to be intense only when both parties find pleasure in it. My empathy is too high for me to stay turned on when somebody is suffering. But I did note something in me is looking at this and thinking, this is what I want. I went to the bathhouse looking to let this part of me get what it wanted. It was very enthusiastic. As far as bathhouses go, this one in Zurich was expensive, $60. It was the cleanest bathhouse I've ever been in. Women were allowed on some days, but I don't mind that. I walked around and just kind of looked. There were a lot of handsome men, but I was waiting for that spark of enthusiasm to rear up. I rounded a corner and there he was, probably early 50s, big dick, and looking right back at me. I walked closer and hand signaled that I was going to touch him. We touched for a sec and then went into a room and locked the door. He was immediately dominant. I liked some of it. I let myself feel the part I liked. It was like a sureness of being wanted. But there was this huge part I didn't like. I was in pain, and he either couldn't sense it, didn't care, or was getting off on it, like an affirmation of his power. I was down to affirm him, but I didn't feel seen. It feels like I'm fine tuning an instrument. I want my intuition to spot and be attracted to men who can clearly communicate their desire for me and can listen. I kept fantasizing that he was a better listener while he was fucking me. The enthusiasm stirred when I did that. I let him fuck me way longer than I normally would have. I kept thinking toward that part in me. This is what you said you wanted. Look at it now. We don't seem to like this. Look, look, look. A similar thing happened at the bar last night. I sat down and a guy sat down next to me a little bit later. He was cute. I wasn't super turned on. I liked him. Some soft parts of me were interested. He had survived cancer. He had turned over a new leaf and was set on living more fully. It was inspiring. He was a top that could bottom. But my turn on and enthusiasm was checking out the couple on the other side of the bar. They were super masculine looking and were the two hottest guys to me. I have learned that I can have sex with anyone. It's weird. It's like I know I can be turned on when I choose the moment. But my experience with ALIFTIMTS showed me that it's life giving when more of the pieces are in alignment. I had randomly texted German in Barcelona earlier, and he replied to me, so I went outside to text chat with him. It turns out he was hurt by our interactions and how I went to spend time with ALIFTIMTS. We cleared that up with a clear apology from me, and I could feel my intuition updating. Somebody got hurt by your lack of clarity, your not following your turn on more guiltlessly, and your attempt to make everybody happy. I went back into the bar. I had told the first guy that I would kiss him when I got back. I kissed him and then said, I'm feeling into it and I'm not ready to attach to you. I'm going to follow my turn on more. I got up and walked over to the couple. They were into me too. They weren't as interesting to talk with and had a shyness swaddled in coolness that wasn't as refreshing as the first guy. We talked, we went into the dark room, and it was sexy. It wasn't intimate, but we stayed in for a while, which I like. I got to this wild place that felt very immediate. We went back out, and the one of them that hadn't finished invited me back into the dark room about an hour later. That was super hot too, and we drew a crowd. His partner seemed different after we left, and when I said, "Hey, I'm here all weekend, want to do that again with a bed?" they declined. My face scrunches typing that. And then I immediately thought about the first guy. I would have still been in bed with him, and he'd probably still be feeling free and attuning all over my body. The enthusiasm shifted just a little, but it didn't make a full swing. If I bumped into that couple again, I wouldn't play with them. If I saw the first guy again, I don't know if I'd play with him either. I feel this deep desire for the wise choice and the hot encounter to be one. I do not want to compromise either, but I will follow this turn on. I feel like I'm letting myself have the experience of who I am at a more visceral level when I do. I'm going to continue this motion. I get to see who I am when I love myself. Is there a sexuality where people are attracted to people who can handle them using commas in sentences? I'm part that and part sub and part dom who dominates by waterboarding men in listening. 8 billion people on the planet. There's definitely someone who can get down with this. I remind myself now, thoughts of finding someone, aligning my intuition, and letting the old parts of me get what they want will all be flattened when love finds me again. I learned that with ALIFTIMTS. There's no casual sex. There's just sex we can deny the love about and sex that we can't. Continuing the motions. Mike. P.S. ALIFTIMTS and I are texting every day, and it feels really nice. I'm staying open though, just like I did after meeting you. My intuition reminds me in my wandering eye that this isn't a search for a man, it's a search for love.